Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Rush Formula 2. And we're going to see how things are going to rock and roll here. Actually, we're in quite the rush to get the qualifying here at Zandvoort because it is one shot quali for F2, and then we got 20 laps around Zandvoort, the Dutch Grand Prix, one of the most historic venues in F1. And in Formula 2 cars, this track is a roller coaster of a good time. My name is Patrick Coleman, aka Rekis, and I'll be one of your hosts and commentators for today's action. And alongside me is the man, the myth, the legend, Daniel Rocks. Daniel, as we get started with one shot quality, how are you feeling today?
I'm pretty freaking awesome, Rekkers. I like the introduction you gave me, the man, the myth, the legend. I like that. Bit of a gloat moment there, but I've been pretty good. I've been pretty good.
That is good to hear. So, the thing about the F2 cars on this track in general, as I was driving around earlier, it's an interesting thing comparatively to other cars because you don't have there's no battery management system that you have to work with. So it's just raw 600 plus horsepower coming out of a Mecachrome V8. Sorry, V6, not V8. I'm sure a lot of people wishes these were V8s. But no, these are Mecachrome V6s. And so we'll just see how they do. We don't have the Mechachrome lottery this time around, so it should be a good time. We do see that Jono is currently leading one shot quali, and they're gonna go ahead and make their way through, coming through the final sweeping corner. I like to call it the Indiana corner, back to like the Indy 500 as it comes around the line. What position is Aiden going to be in? Looks like he's going to be second with Jono going ahead and taking the pole position here. Just ahead of 20 laps of Zandvoort. So this is going to be a grand old time here. Just taking a look at your results. It is Jono ahead of Aiden Rated Kazuto. And then we have Sick Party. And then we have Muzz, Koopa Troopa, Zax, Calgano, Fat Cat Batman Jr., aka Lamb. And then we have SJ, the Governor, AXT, Slushy, Flying Kiwi, Bobby, Kungbus, Com United, and Crutter, who were not unable to set lap times in the session due to track limits. So this is going to be a grand old time here. And Daniel, any bold predictions before we get started with the race?
Bold predictions. Jono went real quick there in one shot quali, 4.5 tenths quicker than Aiden is Raiden, and another 8 tenths quicker than Kazuto. So the man to beat here tonight is the one, the only Jono. So I think Jono will take the win here tonight.
Pretty safe assumption, all things considered, because I mean we know how fast Jono is. He's multiple race winner, multiple time Div 1 and actually Div 1 current championship leader. So he knows what it's like to be at the sharp end of the spear. And I know he will have no issues with just doing what he can and just pulling away from this pack into early offset. So the thing about F2, if you guys are new to F2, there is no ERS. These cars are not hybrids, and these things do have the braking. You do have to get used to because the brakes are a bit different compared to the F1 cars of the 25 and 26 seasons, and even compared to F1 24's F2 cars, the braking is a bit different. Not as much downforce, so you do have a bit more understeer in these F2 cars. But here we go. We have the 5 red lights coming up on the gantry. And it is lights out and away we go here in Zandvoort. So this is going to be a good run here now. Coming down into the first couple of corners. It's a Trident 1-2 at the moment. Sick Party in the Invicta going ahead and going wheel to wheel with the Prema of Aiden is Raiden. Sick Party is going to go ahead and continue to push on here in the early stages. Lamb in the high tech going wheel to wheel with the dams of Koopa. And Bobby is out. Zax has got a 10-second pen. And it is a VSC to kick things off because things are really kicking off here. All right, we've had a few incidents here. Zach's got tagged. Crutter no longer has a front wing. Com United. Okay, he's just missing an end plate. So a few drivers got pinged for that, and actually it's a full-on safety car. So another thing about F2 is you do have to do a. It's still the same thing like F1, where there's two mandatory compounds. But the thing is that there's two required compounds. And what I mean by that comparatively is normally in F1 you have to run two different compounds. Here, there's two specific compounds you need to run. So in this case, for this race, you have to run the medium and the soft. And it varies track by track. Some tracks require you to do super soft and soft, soft and hards. It's pretty much any permutation of that. So in the very early stages, what do you think about this track, Daniel? Do you think it's, a good track? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Somewhere in between? How do you feel about Zandvoort?
I mean, Zandvoort, yeah, I reckon it's a pretty decent track to race around, as I'm doing in Division 2 this week and coming up. But yeah, I reckon it's a good track, especially that NASCAR-esque banking turn, hairpin turn. I reckon that's good, as well as the Indianapolis corner. So yeah, I reckon pretty decent track to race around here, Echoes.
Yeah, I mean it's very flowy. It has a very nice flow to it, and actually in the 26 cars, it actually does play pretty nicely towards the battery, at least in my experience. So it should be a good time around here when we head to this track. It's still a Trident 1-2 at the moment, and this is going to be a good run here. I do like these Formula 2 cars. They're a lot of fun. So different teams entirely than what you're used to in Formula 1. Trident. So I can give you guys even a little bit of just kind of history with at least most of these teams. So Trident, it's a Czech team. I probably butchered that pronunciation. I do apologize, but they're from the Czech Republic, and they actually are one of the most dominant teams in Formula 3. So that's and usually how it's went for the last two seasons. F3 you go Trident, F2 you go Invicta, and Invicta, they're a watch company, funny enough. So almost in a very similar vein of Red Bull taking over Jaguar, Invicta took over Carlin and became its own racing team. I actually have an Invicta watch. They actually do run some pretty good deals on occasion, at least here in the States. We are not sponsored by Invicta, by the way. I do actually have a pretty nice Invicta watch, Miami Grand Prix edition. I'm from Florida. You got to get the Miami Grand Prix edition. Prema, they've been successful in pretty much every form of motorsport they've attempted, aside from IndyCar. They've been in F2, F3, Formula Regional, um, European Le Mans. They've been around the block. Lucas Oil Dams is a French team sponsored by an American oil company. They've also competed in a handful of motorsports. They are Dutch team. So, and actually, they were touted to be potentially getting a entry into Formula One at some point. And then MP Motorsport. Um, I don't have a lot of info on MP Motorsport. Actually, it's like the one F2 team I really don't have a lot on. And then you have AIX team, pretty much owned by an investment firm. Campos, they used to race in F1 back in the day. Um, Not exactly good. They were the team known as HRT back in the day, Hispania Racing Team. So, and then High Tech, which is now actually partially owned by Toyota. And then what would be for Rush? Technically the home team, or at least close-ish to home team of Rodin, a New Zealand-based team. They also make some pretty neat prototype cars. The Rodin F0 is a beautiful car. Look it up when you guys got the time. You won't regret it. But yeah, Rodin does some pretty neat things as well. So, throwing the safety car, there's your little bit of a history run for you.
Well, you've taught me a thing or two just then, 'cause I never knew any of that. So I really do appreciate that. But yeah, as you see, Trident 1 2. Let's go back to that incident on lap 1. I've got it clipped. So I'm gonna go back and have a look what happened here. So there's a Red Bull of Communited spinning, and it looks like there's a AIX of Kutakama stopped on the middle of the track and DNF'd. And then the AIX of Slushy had nowhere to go into Communited's car. So basically, it's lap 1. Everyone's trying to jostle for position. So it's just pure chaos. But let's hope the safety car is in this lap. So let's see what happens on the safety car restart then. Now I've got the tyres up here. Kazuto and AXT are on the softs. Everyone else. So let's take that into accountability here. That Kazuto's on the soft compounded tyres. Jono's on those mediums. Now Jono is only allowed to go when the safety car is into the pit lane. And when those green flags start waving, he can go at any point. Safety car is in the pit lane, so at any point now he's gonna go for it. He's got the jump on his teammate. Very good restart here by Jono. He's gonna take the esport line, started on Yuki Tsunoda from Abu Dhabi last year, as it's a good jump for Jono. Look to the back of the field. We got two cars going side by side, and around goes Slushy Flying Kiwi. It is Flying Kiwi that is in the gravel turn 1. But a very good start by the both Tridents, and Sick Party retaining or regaining P number 3. It's a fantastic restart by both Tridents there, Rickers.
Yeah, exactly. Both Tridents got the launch that they needed, and they can really kind of work together here to try to bring home a Trident 1 2. And then as the self-proclaimed, actually I'm still not gonna read that on stream. You cannot pay me enough to read that name on stream. But Sick Party is gonna go ahead and continue on racing here. We'll see what he can go ahead and try to muster as he does try to really start reeling in the gap here. Kazuto is in a bit of a tricky spot because as soon as he loses that DRS from Jono, it might as well be curtains. Because we know how fast Jono is. We know his pace. And then the DRS around here is still pretty potent. It opens up the rear wing just like in the 2025 cars. So pretty much almost every car up until this regulation. But Aiden's Raiden was going to go for a peek of the inside of the Invicta. And then the Prima is going to go ahead and just take a look at everything possible and try to hold on. He's going to just go ahead and just follow him through the very twisty bits of Sector 1. Now, Sector 1, Turn 3 is a very interesting one because you can't even sometimes just set up a good overtake. On this track in general, not just for Turn 3, but sometimes you can set up some really gnarly overtakes around the outside just because of the way that this track flows. Or you can even get a switchback. If you miss the apex and then try to cut in, you can also get a switchback going, particularly through Turn 3. Zach's user is going to try to make his way back up through the field. A little bit of a slide there from Common United in the MP as he's trying to race the rodent of Zach's. He's going to go for it. He's going to try to dive of the inside into the grass. No room in the in. And Common United will stay in 14th. Zach, though, he's on the faster tire. He's on the soft. He will have to run the medium eventually. But the McLaren-themed Rodent Motorsport, and that's a little bit of contact there with Kungba. So it's going to be a drag race here coming to the line. And that is going to be a good scrap there. Just a bit further up, Aiden did rate his way up into the top 3. With Sick Party going to have to try to go on the chase. Now he'll have DRS. So he will try to make something happen. But so far, it's still been a flawless restart for the two Tridents, as they are both out of DRS range.
Yeah, absolutely there, Wreckers. That's the main point. You're gonna need DRS in these F2 cars, especially to keep up with the car ahead. Now, Aiden is rating DRS down these next two straights. It's gonna go to Sick Party in that Invicta. I'm just gonna confirm with you, Wreckers. That is Sick Party in P4, right?
Yes, that is Sick Party in
Uh,
P4.
just gonna make sure, because ever since that name changed, I haven't been able to recognize him the same. But here comes Aiden. He's trying to. No, here comes Sick Party, sorry. He's trying to get that P3 back, but doesn't think about it just yet. Now, the question is, when is Kazuto gonna come in and jump off those soft tires? But at this point in time, I think he's starting to struggle on those soft compounded tires. I think they're starting to become very stage at this stage of the Grand Prix, because Aiden is Raiden. He's in that DRS zone. He's just in it barely. So if he can manage to stick in the DRS zone through these next few corners, he's going to have the DRS going down the main straight and into turn one. And that means we got a three-car battle for P2, 3, and 4. And the question will be, when does Kazuto come in off those soft tires? Jeez, can't speak tonight. Jeez, Luis. But yeah, question is, Kazuto, when does he pit wreckers?
Probably. I'm probably gonna say around lap 9 at the absolute latest. Probably lap 9 going into lap 10 is probably it. I mean, maybe you'll pit in at the end of lap 10, but normally you want to give the longer stint to the mediums because the mediums do last a bit longer than the softs. The soft tires are fast and aggressive, while the mediums are kind of the 50-50 of the bunch. But usually how F2 works is that you have two different tire compounds that you're required to use. So it's either soft and mediums, super soft and mediums, and so on. There's always a softer and harder compound. Almost, it's even pretty close to how IndyCar tends to operate with the regular and the alternate tire. So kind of a similar situation here. So you do have a faster tire that can really punch through, but it burns out super quickly. And then you have the other tire that can actually go the distance. The only track that I know that actually runs both soft and super soft is Monaco. I think a few other tracks also require that. I'm not too sure to be to. I mean, it's been a minute since I've done F2, like an F2 career. So I know a lot of tracks mostly do like medium and super soft or stuff of the like. But here we go. They are absolutely scrapping here. Aiden's Raiden does move up into second. He's got the DRS. He's got the speed. Is he going to lose his spot to the Invicta, though? That's going to be the question at hand. So, oh, but you see a lot of snapping there from Kazuto. Another key trait of this track is that the curbs will absolutely grab and yank you around if you're not careful, especially in some of the banked areas of the track. It's a shame that we're losing this track next year, but I know it's not the most popular series on the planet. If you like Formula E, then Formula E is coming to Zandvoort next year for 2027, as well as a few other fun tracks like Coda. I think Mugello is also on that calendar. Shanghai, the Chinese Grand Prix. Quite a few tracks heading to Formula E. Some of which are still on the F1 calendar. Others used to be on the F1 calendar. As SJ now is trying to chase down Muzz, trying to chase down the two Lucas Oil Dams cars as they continue to speed along here in Zandvoort. We'll see when we're going to start seeing some pit stops. Just taking another look through the field. We do have another three-way battle here. AXT in the MP Motorsport machine. Under some pressure now from the Invicta of Noah, the Alpine team principal, enjoying some Formula 2 action as it stands. So we're going to see how these drivers go ahead and make magic happen. So United is going to go ahead and jump his teammate. His teammates come into the pits now. So Kazuto's still running on those soft tires. So it'll be interesting to see what he does here. Um, I mean, surely not. He's surely not going to go the distance on those tires because he still needs to change those tires. Oh, there's a VSC. Will that be for um, Lamb? No, Lamb is back there. Uh, okay, so I don't know who that's for actually. I didn't see any particular instance. Maybe something with the two Lucas oils? Maybe? I don't know.
They've done it like Spa for absolute no reason, dude. And by the way, just to confirm that from the E calendar, yeah, they're going to Coda, Berlin, Germany, Saudi Arabia. I don't know how that's gonna work. And then they're gonna have a what seems to be double header in London, double header in Zandvoort, double header in Madrid. As we go back racing, green flag conditions, Gripper Trooper, 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. But as I was saying, yeah, double header in Madrid, double header in Shanghai, and then we end off this Tokyo. So that's a very packed calendar for Formula E coming up next season. But let's focus on this race here, because I believe the one and only Jono has come in to the pit lane and put on those soft compounded tyres until the end of the Grand Prix. So let's see how fast he can catch. Yellow flag in the back. Crew de Karma's into the gravel in turn number 1. Now, question is, when does the two leaders, Aiden Raiden and Sick Party, come in? Will they immediately respond to the potential undercut of Jono, even though Jono was leading, and they're kind of undercutting, he's kind of undercutting the undercutters? You know, like something around those lines. But the question is, will they come in at the end of this lap? What does Aiden's Raiden do? Aiden's Raiden stays out. Sick Party comes in. This is going to be crucial. He gets a 10-second penalty for spinning in the pit lane. Oh. That has just ruined his race, as Criticama is around again. As everyone's coming in now. That has just ruined his race. But through goes Jono. Jono has got the, what's it called? The provisional race lead at this point in time. But with Sick Party getting that 10-second time penalty, it's on now for anybody that can get behind Sick Party and manage to stay within 10 seconds. Because that's all they got to do. Stick within 10 seconds of Sick Party and they get that position. But look at Jono all over Com United, who is on 11 lap old mediums. So that's pretty easy move done for Jono. He's now got to chase down Calgano. The gap is currently 3 seconds. Now, back to the race leader of Aiden is Raiden. Got a 5.5 second lead over SJ. Yellow flags. Criticam has retired.
Oh,
Will this be a safety car? No safety car. But Aiden is Raiden manages to stop. Where's Jono? Jono's in P4 coming down the main straight. And Jono is going to get the race lead. He's still in the... Yeah. But what about Sick Party? Sick Party, does he drop Raiden? Out comes Aiden is Raiden through Party. As Flying Kiwi gets a 10-second penalty for spinning in the pit lane. But so far, pit stop's done. One penalty handed out. Raquez, what's your thoughts so far?
One of the trickiest things to get used to with these F2 cars is the braking. The braking is different. You do have to brake a bit earlier than you would in the F1 cars. and it's definitely a huge thing to really get used to. I absolutely hated the brakes on these cars, and on some tracks I still do hate the brakes on the F2 cars. Bahrain in particular is really tough for braking, but I mean that's one thing that's probably catching a few of these drivers out. And I mean, especially with a lot of them competing so highly in these divisions for our regular leagues, right? You got the regular divs 1 through 4 in the 2026 F1 cars. Their brakes are a lot more responsive, or a lot more potent, I should say. So you pick your normal breaking point that you would for F1, as you do with Calgano and Jono going side by side. 13 lap old mediums versus 3 lap old softs. That's usually a very one-sided fight. In this case, it is. But sometimes you pick your normal breaking point and you just can't get the car slowed down enough. That's just kind of the danger of these F2 machines. We're already almost down to the final 5 laps of the session. We'll interview the winner and then we will go on with our night. As Jono is going to go ahead and continue to make his way through. We'll see if he can hold on to the race lead, but it seems pretty likely. But then a safety car emerges. I'm going to kind of grab a quick through and see. Well, there's a car without a front wing. I think Kung Bus didn't have a front wing. So, um, yeah, okay. So Kung Bus is missing a wing. So that's maybe some kind of contact there is what brought out the safety car. So, but now that's going to really bunch the field up. That's going to give Calgano a nice pit stop. So, Sick Party and Aiden, they're on fresher tires than Jono, and they'll start right behind the Division One championship leader. And Jono's actually back in the pits. Now, did Calgano pit earlier? Calgano did pit earlier, so
Yes, can confirm he has pitted. He went from soft to mediums. So this is going to really benefit him. And you know who else is not going to benefit? I was about to say, if Sick Party stayed out, this is not going to benefit him. But no, he's come in. He's going to serve that penalty. But, yeah. But sorry to interrupt you there, Rickers.
oh, good. So yeah, Calgano, he did pit earlier, so in theory, he can stay out to the end and win this thing. But it's gonna be difficult. The mediums are gonna start fading at this stage. You know, we did have a few laps under safety car conditions. Um, Ryan Adair gets a track limit warning as he comes into the pits, so he gets a 3-second time penalty for track limit violations, which is pretty well unfortunate to say the least. But it does happen to the best of us. So we're gonna just do a quick run through the field as we get ready to jump to the safety car. Calgano leads on the 14-lap-old mediums compared to Ada's Raiden on the 2-lap-old softs. And then Kazuto ahead of Jono, who just pitted in for a fresh set of rubber. And then we have Muzz, SJ, AXT, Zax, Carbonated, Noah Huni, Sick Party, Koopa Troopa. And then we have Ryan Adair, aka XD Lamb. And then we have Flying Kiwi, Slushy, and Kung Bus. Rounding out your field with Kota Karma and Bobby retiring very early on. So we lost to AIX and an ART. And now we still have 16 drivers on the track as they begin to form up behind the safety car. If I were to make a bit of a guess, we might have just a 2-lap shootout to the end. So we'll probably have a safety car for the entirety of lap 18 or 17 and 18. And then we come back at 19 is my guess.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you there. But while we're under the safety car, I'm going to say this. I am going to my first AFL match tomorrow night. I am going to the Crows v Collingwood clash. Round 20. Pretty sure Crows sit 5th on the ladder and Collingwood sit 8th. So I'm going to be sitting second row back on the front row. So I'll be sitting pretty close. But for my first ever AFL match, I'm pretty stoked. Reckers is probably sitting next to me in the comms box here thinking, what the hell is AFL? But it's the Aussie football. So yeah, I'm
Soccer,
going to my
gotcha.
first one. Yeah, so soccer, soccer in your native tongue.
So
But
etymology is a
yeah,
beautiful thing, right? For those of you who may be a bit unfamiliar, etymology is kind of the science of words and word history for long story short. But it's really interesting because we do speak the same language, but we also have different there's different words that we use for different things. And okay, so also I was talking with another commentator. I was talking with Phoenix, right? And I brought up something that they wanted me to bring up here in chat. And I want your guys' opinions on it. I was with my cousins the other day, and it was a fun family gathering and such. But we were talking about hot dogs and hot dog toppings, and I mentioned that Phoenix, and yes, I'm throwing them under the bus, didn't know what nacho cheese was for the longest time as a hot dog topping. So they suggested that Phoenix puts Vegemite on their hot dogs as a topping. What do you think about that one, Daniel?
well, first of all, as an Australian that eats Vegemite on their toast every morning, I mean, on a hot dog, on a hot, I don't know. On a hot dog, I don't know, but on toast, I think it's pretty good on toast. Let me tell you. But Rekez, what's your thoughts on Vegemite? Have you ever tried it?
I've never
If
actually
you
tried
have,
Vegemite. If and when I do,
ooh,
and for those of you maybe new to Rush, despite Rush being an Oceanic Australian league, I'm American. So it is currently 6 a.m. here in the land of the free and home of the Buckies, as I said during the Coda broadcast. But yeah, so I mean, it's still Vegemite here. I've just never actually had it. I might get adventures and try it when I do eventually visit the land down under. But we're about to go in for the final two laps, as I did predict. We are going to get going as Calgana does back up the field. Daniel, I'll let you take the penultimate lap, and I'll take the final lap. Over to you, my friend.
sounds good. Thank you very much indeed, Rekez. Now, question is, when does Calgano go? And he has. We are going green back here in Zandvoort. Very good launch by Aiden is rated on those softs. Calgano looking to try to defend his position here, but he's on 17 lap old mediums. I don't know how that's going to work. Better contact between Aiden is rated and Calgano as we go through turns 1, 2, and 3 and onto the NASCAR banking hairpin. Aiden is Raiden gets the job done. But look at Jono going side by side with his teammate Kazuto. They're both on a set of soft and medium. Kazuto on the inside. Jono right behind him. Calgado, bit of contact. Bit of gearbox contact between the three of them. Question is, does Jono get the move on his teammate? Yes, answer is a definite yes. Jono is up to P3, but Calgano, best, he got a decent launch, but those old tyres ain't treating him the same. But look at Jono going down the inside of Calgano through these next couple of corners. But look at Kazuto right there alongside of him. It's currently Aiden is Raiden leading 1.5 seconds. Can Jono hunt him down? Rekez, let's find out.
Let's find out indeed. So here we go. It's the final lap here of the Dutch F2 race. Calgano, he's been disqualified for failing to use the correct set of tires. So that was the thing I was talking about earlier. Calgano, you have to use the soft tires for a specific set lap count. There's a specific pit window. If you try to break that pit window, you will get disqualified. It's one of the weird quirks of the F2 rules. So it is a very unfortunate way to go, but that is exactly how it has been wrapped up here. Jono is catching. He's catching out to the back of Aiden Raiden, but is it going to be enough, or is it too little too late? The two Div 1 drivers are really going to give it a go here as they make their way down into Sector 3 for one last time. Jono is right up the gearbox, though. He's closing in. He's going to try it. He's looking one way. He's got to get a good exit here through the final corner. It's going to be a drag race to the line, but the DRS is going to help. Is it going to be Jono? Is it going to be Aiden? Aiden's going to defend it to the line, and Aiden is ready to win the F2 race here in Zandvoort, and Jono has a massive tumble across the line. Aiden's ready to win, and oh, big contact there with the Invicta of Noah. And Noah works, or sorry, that's Sick Party, but he will get across the line in time. It's a double Trident podium, but a Primo will take the win. Aiden's ready to win here. And as a very unfortunate DSQ from Calgano does shake up the podium here today. So we'll go to get a very quick chat with Aiden Israden, and then we will go ahead and move on. But podium celebration here. The Prima driver does win. It's a Trident 2-3, so two Tridents on the podium. I just can't wait till they add F3 into this game because a 30 car grid is going to be absolute chaos, and I'm all here for it. So here we go. They're gonna go ahead and enjoy the celebrations, and then we'll go ahead and also a massive shout out to Muzz for dropping a tier 1 subscription. Thank you so much for the support as we go through. Jono, fastest lap, race winner, 8 is rated, Com United, getting driver today in the most overtakes, with Jono being your cleanest driver. So, here's how everything sits. It is going to be 8 is rated ahead of Jono, and then Kazuto, rounding out your podium, and then Muzz, SJ, and then Sick Party, Com United, AXT, Noah Huni, and then we have the lone high tech of Ryan Adair, Koopa Troopa, Zax, Slushy, Flying Kiwi, and then the also Kung Bus, and then the retirements of Credit Karma, Bobby, and Calgano, who did get disqualified for the infringement. So that's going to be the end of things here. We're going to go and just at least get a quick chat with Aiden Israden if he's available. We'll give it like a minute or so. If
You
not,
gotta,
then
uh, you gotta make the thing because it's full. You know the
oh,
bloody
well, that's new.
yeah
Actually, I can't
yeah.
change that, so that's a bit of a
So
new
you see
one.
where it says,
Yeah,
you
I
see where it says 2 out of 2.
yeah, I have to try to actually
Hmm.
grab him.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't know why that's a thing. You know what? We'll just forego interviews. Unfortunately, not sure why it's set to that. That's definitely a new one. But that's gonna go to wrap things up here at Rush Racing. Thank you guys so much for tuning on in. Massive shout out to our sponsors of Pagni and SimLab. And I gotta actually remember the sponsors. It's been a while. It's been a couple of days. It's been a crazy couple of days. But massive shout out to all of our sponsors. Thank you guys so much for tuning on in. Daniel, any final words before we go ahead and send this one off into the sunset?
One word, and that is actually I've got two. Very close battle and chaos. So that's actually more than one, but yeah, very close battle between Aiden Israel and Jono, and then absolute chaos on lap 1. But yeah, it's F2. What do you expect?
Yeah, F2. I mean, it's certainly chaos. So we'll see how it goes. Tune in next week for when we head to our next location on the Formula 2 schedule. And tune in later on this week. Tomorrow is the reserve program. And then on Saturday, we kick off the divisional rounds. So it's going to be a good time here. And yeah, so once again, thank you guys so much for tuning on in. And stay hydrated. On behalf of Daniel, my name is Ben Patrick Coleman, aka Ruckus. We've been your hosts and commentators for tonight's action. We'll see you next time. Good night.